If you keep revisiting the past, torturing yourself, or just having regrets again and again about what you've done or haven't done, you need the attitude of Abdullah. If you find yourself in orbit around a problem again and again and again, you need the attitude of Abdullah. If you find that you know what to do, but you just aren't doing it, or for some reason it ain't working for me anymore, or it never has been, I'm going to say it again, you need the attitude of Abdullah. And it's not just any attitude. It's the attitude of Abdullah. Ab was Neville's longest-term teacher, from what I can tell, besides Neville himself. Just about everybody can quote the time where Ab slammed the door. And that is the pivotal story. But there's so much more worth diving into. I remember the first time I had Chinese food. I'd never had Chinese food before. That's why it was the first time. And a girl I was dating was telling me all about it. And this is way before the day of the Chinese buffet. This is when you went with a group of people and everybody ordered food. And if you ate it traditional style, whatever that means, you share. That way you can share in the experience. That way you can share in all kind of different flavors, textures, foods. And I fell in love with Chinese food by exploring 7 different lovely meals with a lovely girl that I was dating at the time. And some friends and family. Not only do you need the attitude of Abdullah, you need to explore the attitude of Abdullah. Because when you're stuck, when you're in orbit, when you feel loopy, the first thing to do is seek an explanation. Why am I like this? How can I change it? What do I need to do differently? Part of the attitude of Abdullah is the state of active imaginer. Because a lot of people, they just passively accept what their imagination gives them. Another part of the attitude of Abdullah is lack of argumentation, otherwise known as argumentationalism. Let's make it a religion, shall we? Some people worship at the altar of argumentalism. They will argue and argue and argue and argue and argue with me, with themselves, with their memories. There's no need for that. I'm a massive fan of explore and experience, as you know. You need the attitude of Abdullah to explore, to experience, to not settle for explanations. I invite you to explore, to experience, well, a couple things. First is you don't have to do the old attitude of you anymore, because there's an attitude of you. Right there. There's an attitude of who I used to be. I was named after John the Baptist when I was born. And I had the attitude of John the Baptist. I did violence to my desires. There's a reason why we explore that in Triple D, is because I agree with Neville. Before you get to the state that is freedom, you will pass through the state of John the Baptist, which is where you do violence to your desires. There's a couple different ways you can do that. You can add to them, you can subtract from them. You can add to them, well, this is how it must happen. You can subtract to them, well, maybe I do want a puppy, but I'll settle for a hamster. Abdullah told Neville, you went to Barbados and you went first class. Neville was excited about getting a third-class ticket. Ab wasn't. One more. You ready? There's a state. And I want you to let this cook your noodle. There's a state that I call Abdullah. It's where you find the attitude of Abdullah. And I want to explore that state with you. If you're getting that right now, maybe it's not more how-tos. Maybe it's more attitudes. I've got 2 suggestions for you. The first, as always, manifestingmasterycourse.com. Alicia just signed up a few minutes ago. You can imagine my smiles. Because she sent me a help email, and there's nothing I can do. I don't know her well enough, and she doesn't know the basics well enough. So we invited her to build a strong foundation, to have the experiences that change her experiences, and she said yes. Imagine my smiles. Welcome to manifestingmasterycourse.com. My other suggestion, the attitude of Abdullah. We do a deep dive in a little pack we have called the attitude of Abdullah. We made it last year, 2023. We made it because a lot of people have come out of COVID, the loogie, the lockdown, all the bullshit. And they need something. They need an attitude. They need a very specific attitude. And they just need to explore it in a way that expands it within them. And that's what the Attitude of Abdullah training is all about. It's a cool little pack. It's a great deal. Go get it at NevilleGoddardStore.com. By the way, let my words carry you. Abdullah slammed the door. He told Neville, I have nothing more to say. Let what's behind my words carry you. And dive deeper into the attitude of Abdullah at NevilleGoddardStore.com. And now, for fun, let us go into the silence. We love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. Dive deeper, soar higher. See ya.